You are not responsible for someone else's shit. You can help them and you can love them and you can support them, but like, people can work their shit out themselves. Don't ever feel like you have to put up with someone's stuff, because you really don't. Selfish originally came about because I was just crying in a session and I was just ranting about my breakup and how it all ended up like unfolding, and my writers were basically just like jogging down everything I would say, and then they were like, we have a song here. It was just kind of for me about channeling this sad time that I went through and making it something that I could, you know, channel into art. Boy, you're such a lost cause. I've tried so many times to make things right with you, or fix you in any way that I can, because I have this problem where I like love brokenness. I really felt like I was trying to help this person continuously and they didn't really want to be helped at the end. So that's kind of what I meant by like, boy, you're such a lost cause. Like, you don't even want to get better, like evolve. Now your name is crown stuff. It definitely takes me a while to cut people off. I'm like a lover and I just love people, especially when I have a romantic connection with somebody. I value that a lot. So for me, it's really difficult to really end things with somebody. Once you cross me in a certain way or like do something that, you know, crosses certain lines, it's easier for me. So a lot of men in my life have made it pretty easy to be crossed off. How you gonna fix this? You can't even fix yourself. Like, how in the hell are you gonna love someone else if you don't even love yourself? Like, that's so true, and I think that it's obviously a work in progress, and it's such a hard thing to really get to a point where you could honestly say, I love myself, and that's obviously everyone's end goal, but it's a very hard goal to achieve in reality. It was almost 2 years that I chose to spend here, on my New Year's, thinking, what the hell? There was a time where I was with this person on New Year's and I was completely like by myself and felt really alone and sad that I wasn't like with my boyfriend, because I was kind of not being like paid attention to, sadly. And I was definitely thinking, what the hell? I don't wanna break your thread, a needle trying to stitch you, but I can't. I always have this visual in my head of like stitching someone together, like stitching an arm like back together. Like, I don't know why I have this visual in my head. You have to be really gentle and fragile when you're doing that. Like, that's not something that you could just rush through, or that's not something that you have to take that seriously, or you could really do damage to somebody. You can make them lose an arm. When you're trying to help somebody and fix them and you're like trying to deep dive on their deep-rooted issues in whatever way, like, that's a really fragile process. And that's something that I think that I was trying to say was like, I really don't want to break you, but I'm still trying to stitch you back together. Like, I'm trying to help you. But unfortunately, like, I couldn't, and that sucked for me. I refuse. If I'm gonna be completely honest, this song was partially written about my dad as well, which a lot of people don't know, and it's something that I haven't really spoken about because I don't want my dad feeling like I was like dissing him, because obviously this is like a negative song. But my dad definitely has a lot of traits that like I feel like I try to help him and fix him and whatever. This line is kind of emotional for me because I feel like when in regards to my dad, it's like it's not my responsibility to fix you, you know, and in regards to my ex, it's the same thing. I shouldn't love you, but I couldn't help it. Had a feeling that you never felt it. I always knew that you were too damn selfish. There's something in me that's this like inherent disease, I'll say, that I like feel such soul connections with certain people, and it's a blessing and it's a curse, because if I get to a point with you where I'm like, I think that we have like a cosmic connection and like this is some soul shit, like it's really, really hard for me to cut it off. Is my soulmate someone who's going to treat me poorly? Is my soulmate someone who would do this? Like, because I think about that kind of stuff a lot, and it was definitely hard for me, especially when I wrote this song, to swallow the pill. Like, even if someone is your soulmate, and even if you feel like they're your soulmate, like if you're not being treated right, like maybe you shouldn't end up with them. And that's kind of like a sad reality that I've had to face, because, you know, even though you're in love with some people doesn't mean that you should be with them. Don't know why I look the other way. I wanted you to change, yeah. Kicking yourself in the butt, like, I don't know why you did that to yourself. Like, why would you put yourself through extra months or years or whatever of like pain and like suffering with this person when you always knew? So that line is kind of like a dig at myself. I pray that people, you know, would change if somebody voiced to them that they were hurt, but not everyone is like that, and not everyone likes to face their problems. And especially a lot of people that I've, you know, known and dealt with and whatnot, like have for sure chosen the route of burying their problems under the rug and not wanting to face their issues. I bet you thought you gave me real love, but we spent it all in nightclubs. We were definitely clubbing a lot and doing that whole thing, and I am not that kind of person. I would rather be in my bed than be literally anywhere else on the planet all the time. So for me, that was a super weird, like, culture shock. I still go randomly with my friends, but, like, I go with my homies. Why would I want to be, like, sweaty and drunk with all you people? Like, if I'm gonna drink, it's gonna be, like, playing beer pong with my homies. Most of the time, if you ever see me in the club, you'll see me just sitting down, like, people watching and observing. Maybe crying, but, like, yeah. All you ever wanna do is lie. Why you always such a Gemini? I have a lot of Gemini fans apparently who are like, what's wrong with Geminis? And listen, like, nothing's wrong with you guys. I know being two-faced is the most, like, typical stereotype for Geminis, but honestly, it's not even being two-faced, it's like two people. There are literally two people living inside of Geminis. I don't know how to explain it unless you've dealt with one or you are one firsthand. They're really fun to be around, and they're also super funny usually. They have a great sense of humor. Like, there's a bunch of amazing qualities and traits about Geminis, but being in a relationship or being the daughter of one is a little bit scary sometimes. Baby, who you trying to run from? Me or all your problems, you know you will never solve them, 'cause you don't even know yourself. Like, if I know something is wrong, I dive right into it. I like to know everything. Like, I like to literally, like, go back to my childhood, like, what happened to me that made me this way. I'm very much so like that. I have to accept the fact that most people aren't like that, and it's hard for me to accept that because I'm like, why doesn't everyone want to change? Why doesn't everyone want to, like, learn the messed up things about them? And I think I have to understand that, like, most human beings don't like to look at, like, the dark side of the curtain. It was tough for me, like, you know, dating somebody who I felt like I was always trying to be like, we need to figure out why you do this, like, why do you act this way, why are you da-da-da-da, and, like, it was kind of this, you know, ongoing battle of, like, not wanting to get to the root of the issue, which you can't force somebody to do, but at the same time it, like, would hurt me because I'm like, I'm trying to help you move on from this behavioral pattern, and you're choosing to stay in it, and it's hurting me, and that to me isn't, you know, fair. But it's not possible, plus I'm not responsible for your self-made obstacles. Put my heart in the hospital. What I meant by self-made obstacles is, like, these are problems that have arisen in your brain or whatever, and you could have and you can still get help, whether that's therapy, whether that's just being honest and open and having, like, real conversations with people. Like, you can get help in so many ways. Like, when you're choosing to ignore a problem that multiple people who love you and care about you have spoken to you about, you're fooling yourself at this point. Shouldn't love you, but I couldn't help it. I always knew that you were too damn selfish. No. You gotta just know yourself prior to trying to know someone else. You can't try to keep up with a character while you're in a relationship. That's exhausting in itself. You gotta try to, like, just be honest and be yourself. And if you don't know that person, it's gonna be a scary experience for the both of you. As much as I still do try to boss up and be a bad bitch however I can, I still have so many feelings and emotions, and I cry my eyes out while writing this record. And just be patient with yourselves and protect your energy.